Hello, people of YouTube. My name is Steve Gray. Today we're going to be talking about My Hero Academia Season 6, Episode 21. We are winding down Season 6. I believe we only have 4 episodes left. Maybe 3? I don't remember if it's 24 or 25 episodes we're getting all together. I guess we'll find out in 3 weeks. If there's another episode. So we start off with the separation of, I guess, the Deku, Endeavor, Hawks, Best Jeanist, All Might crew. We have 2 random villains going after All Might, and All Might's like, get out of the way. They see that he's frail, but he still has this presence about him, even without all of his powers. All Might still has this presence about him. You know, I mean, I don't think these 2 supposed villains have the ability. It doesn't seem like they have the ability to actually kill him. They are still kind of afraid of him, even though he has like none of his powers. But you see his eyes gleaming bright and blue, and he does inevitably get past them, basically saying, you know, I will put my life on the line for young Midoriya no matter what. Spoiler alert: he doesn't die. So there you go. Deku finally learns after fighting her for a little bit that she has another quirk. That All Might, all for one rather, gave her another quirk, and he's like, oh well, of course he did. Of course he gave her another quirk. That makes sense. That she saw him. He's trying to capture her to figure out where All for One and Shigaraki plan on going. Deku is now using the quirk of, I believe, the 3rd user of One for All, and this is the first time he's using the quirk, and it's a storage quirk. It's kind of similar to the original quirk, but a little bit different, where he can store energy and then release it to kind of make himself a lot faster. It doesn't really get super described in it, but that's kind of what it is. So we're only down to like 1 quirk left that he hasn't used yet, which would be the 2nd user of One for All. We also get some backstory about Lady Nagant, how she was part of the Safety Commission, and she was kind of like the Sasuke in Naruto, you know, or the Danzo in Naruto, the quote unquote shadow Hokage, if you will, where she was killing all of the problem children in the background to make society look good on the surface level, but no one realized what she was actually doing. So, you know, she was basically being used in order to take out heroes herself. She was actually killing, you know, people that were viewed as heroes, but they were doing sleazy stuff in the background. And it kind of made her grow unfond of it. You know, she always pictured herself covered in blood. If we can get to the image here, yep, there's a picture of her hand covered in blood. You know, children are happy to see her. But meanwhile, she is just kind of going deeper and deeper into darkness because she doesn't, you know, she's viewing everything as black and white when Deku essentially says, you know, everything is more gray. You know, everything's in the middle, and that's why I need to help her. So he's actively trying to help her out, you know. So basically we got to see a little bit of her childhood. She was this bright, starry-eyed child, and then she, you know, turned essentially to evil because there was no other option. You know, there wasn't like a middle ground where she could be at. It was either she had to go all one way or all the other way. She didn't like one way, so she had to go the other way. And, you know, Deku realizes that she is, you know, not really putting her all into it. You know, he realizes how strong she is, and that she's kind of holding back her shots to a certain extent. We see this kind of giant morphed sniper rifle because she said, you know, she realized that heroes will always go out of their way to save somebody, no matter who it is. That is their kind of fatal flaw. So she's actually aiming it at Overhaul in order to make Deku go over there to save him, so she can get a second shot off, essentially, and stop him. Because she know that he's going to go save her. You know, basically, Overhaul has lived out his purpose for her. You know, he was able to identify Deku, and she is done with him. Basically, she has no more use for him whatsoever. Doesn't care about him. Is ready to move on. This is where Deku, utilizes that quirk, essentially, um, where he can, yeah, it says temporarily store kinetic energy and release it. So it's kind of like, I guess, yeah. I mean, it's kind of like a stockpile quirk to a certain extent. You're temporarily storing the power and then releasing it, and then going flying. He's storing it in his legs, makes him go even faster than the bullet. Ends up saving Overhaul. Really no issues there. Her gun ends up breaking in the process because she kind of overused it. She goes flying down. Deku is actually able to grab her um, and talk about it. And basically, he's like, you're incredible. You, your heart's not necessarily in the right place, but you're definitely doing things right now um, that show that you still have the heart of a hero. However, All for One has a contingency plan, of course. And I don't know if he has I'm assuming he has the ability to detonate it because she exploded. Um, but he hid an explosion quirk in her, and it does end up hitting Deku. He gets pretty beat up, when he otherwise wasn't really all that beat up. But he definitely needs to rest a little bit after this fight. I don't know if we're going to see him resting all that much, or it's just going to be like a quick flashback of him getting out of the hospital next episode. But she ends up blowing up, injuring Deku. Um, basically All for One saying that she was weak, but that's why he had a contingency plan. Hawks isn't 100% yet. He can't. He caught up to her, but he can't stop her. So lucky Deku has Black Whip. Endeavor isn't the best in the rain, which makes sense. Fire is weak to water. So that definitely makes sense that Endeavor isn't 100% in the rain, where he would be more in the sun. But she talks about how Hawks, how could he have such bright eyes still, and he was the one that replaced her in the safety commission, and he basically said, well, he had a support system, where Lady Nagant apparently did not have that support system, so she turned to the other side. I don't really know if she's alive or dead, but she said in 2 months, I guess she was supposed to bring Deku to this mansion, which I'm assuming is the original mansion of Mr. Compress. I believe that's probably where they all went to now that, Rey Destro's place has been exploded. But, yeah, I mean, we can see Deku's a little beat up here. Overhaul basically said he wants to apologize to the old man, which I believe is like essentially his father. He views him as his father or grandfather. And Deku says, maybe we'll allow you to do that if you turn those feelings to Eri. And he was like, oh yeah, if I get Eri, she can reverse all the damage done to him. He doesn't even think about reversing, his arms. She thinks about him reversing the damage that he did to his old man to take over the Shiagashi. Back a couple seasons ago. I think that was in season 4, if I remember correctly. And Deku's like, maybe if you can turn those feelings to Eri and apologize what you did to her, that will allow you to go apologize to him. Because he hasn't even thought about Eri at all, whatsoever. And it just kind of threw him off. It was kind of interesting to see Deku and him interact again, even though Overhaul is essentially useless without his arms now. Nothing he can do about it. Preview for next episode. Not really sure what we're getting at. Just basically, it's talking about Deku needs to release the full power of One for All. We get a little preview of the second user, which, who knows? Next episode is called Friend, so it's going to be interesting to see because, we saw the second and third user together when they freed, the original of One for All. So it'll be interesting if we get some backstory and then maybe see how one of them died or something along those lines, because I don't think they had the quirk very long. I'm assuming it was something where, one was on his deathbed and he gave the quirk to the other one, and then the other one, died shortly after that. We don't have a big, emphasis on really what happened to all of the past users, which I'm assuming is what we're going to get next episode, so that'll be cool. Overall, this episode, like a 7 out of 10. It was pretty good. It's kind of interesting to see they introduced this new character. And essentially, she was gone in like 3 episodes. I don't know if she'll play a major significance in the future. Not really sure, but she needs to go to the hospital. She's not dead. At least I don't think she's dead. But definitely injured. I mean, you see her body is all charred and beat up because she exploded, which I don't know if she'll be able to control that quirk in the future or not. Who knows? But good episode overall. Only a few episodes left, and I'm looking forward to it. But it's kind of one of those things where I'm not really sure what's going to happen next. Maybe who knows? I mean, I don't see Deku really changing his path. It's probably going to be keep going forward. Maybe we'll get like a 2-month time skip or something, and that's maybe I'm thinking that's probably where season 6 is going to end. It'll be like, okay, they're in front of the mansion, they got a whole team again, like they did at the beginning of this, to kind of invade the villain's hideout. And then it'll just go from there. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Hit that subscribe button, turn on that notification bell, leave a like, comment what you got to see for future anime, cartoon related content, and check out the Nagatoro video that you will be seeing at some point tomorrow. Thank you for watching, and as always, have a good one.